This model kit review is of the Hawker Hurricane, the mk.ii, and it is a 1/72nd scale model by Revell. And here are the dimensions. Got some nice box art here. And let's see here. Here's some details here about the plane. And let's have a look at our sprues and instructions. So this looks like a newer mold. Let's have a look over here. Is our glass. That's actually quite nicely molded, except for here we've got some flashing. There's some more flashing there. Here we've got some. This is the lower part of the wing with the wheel wells. There's actually some nice detail in there. And we've got recessed lines and rivet lines and panel lines. Here are our exhausts. We do have some flashing little mold lines, which is a little disappointing. So that'll need to be sanded down. Here's our air intake. Some nice detail there. That's with our spinner. And pitot tube there. Here's our cockpit floor with the seats. Some seat belts molded in there. That's our instrument panel there. And the inside of our cockpit with the sides. Actually some nice detail there. That's probably part for the underside, the air intake maybe. Here we've got our guns. And here are our fuel tanks. Again, flashing kind of everywhere. This is all flashing. It's a little disappointing. Here we have our bombs, and those are already molded, but again, flashing kind of everywhere. And then here are our wings. These are nicely molded, again flashing, but recessed lines. Here are our wheels, and wheel well covers, landing gear, and elevators. So, let's have a look at our instructions and decals. Now these are quite large here. We've got some details here with the decals. And there's our instrument panel. So, not too bad. Quite a few good decals, nicely printed. And here are the instructions. So we've got some details here about the plane. And so interesting, the layout of this instruction sheet. So we've got our colors that we need. Lots of mixing going on there. So here we have our parts listings, and it shows you the parts that we're not using. We start off with the cockpits and put the fuselage together. Put our exhausts in, and instrument panel. Start to build the wing with the lower side and lower part of the fuselage. And don't forget to drill out the holes there for the fuel tanks. Put the wings together, and then our elevator. Start to build our landing gear there, and gears then mounted. That's if you want to have the gear up. Here is our radiator. And I guess this is for the tropical version or the desert version. It had a separate air intake. It would keep sand out of the engine. Here's our fuel tanks. And then we've got our bombs going on. Guns being mounted. And then propeller with spinner. And then we've got our lights. Canopy. And then don't forget the radio wire. Here are the two options for the decals. So this is from Northeast India, So this was not the Royal Air Force, but they flew this version of the plane, and lots of decals going on there. And then here, this is from North Africa during 1944 World War II with the Royal Air Force. So lots of decals. So overall, the molding quality is a little poor, but the details are great. Decals are reasonably good, so that'll be a good build.